Alright guys, now the new Air Venturi Avenger Bullpup comes to us from Nova Vista, China. It's regulated, and that regulator is externally adjustable, and it comes with its own dedicated onboard pressure gauge. This pup's also got an externally adjustable hammer spring to complement the reg. That 1-2 punch enables the user to make the gun work with a variety of ammo, and bias their tune and velocity towards economy, power, or somewhere in between. And the package is only $400, the lowest available price by far for all the airgun that's being offered. And this is just the beginning of the Avengers value proposition. The Avenger rifle first debuted in 2020 and pretty much freaked everyone out with its then $300 price tag and unusually high performance and tunability. Before that, the industry hadn't seen this level of easy and effective tuning offered below $1,000. I was able to review this rifle, as well as provide a detailed tuning guide on how to set it up to be 50 and 100 yards successful, with a variety of pellets, slugs, and tunes. It was a 22 cal, and it performed great at between 25 and 43 foot-pounds among 3 shared tunes: an Eco tune, a Pro tune, and a Max Power tune. You can find those older videos by running a YouTube search for AEAC Avenger, and I'll leave links to them in the description down below. The rifle is 9 inches longer than the pup, but weighs about 1.5 pounds less. All Avengers can be had in 17722 or 25, and the pup I'm reviewing today is a 25 cal. Already I've published a tuning guide for it on my other YouTube channel, AEAC Vlog, of which I provided 6 tunes and detailed instructions on how to achieve each: an Eco tune, a 25 grain Pro tune, a 34 grain Pro tune, a 25 grain short range high power tune, a 34 grain max power tune, and the OEM tune. No matter where you end up on the barrel lottery, that ought to have you covered. Both guns came to me by way of Air Venturi, Tyler Patner more specifically, the Air Venturi product manager. Breaking one each, I had to rely on warranty for a replacement to get through the reviews. The 2 warranty issues I experienced were significant regulator creep on the rifle and a stripped out main stock screw on the pup. My replacement 2020 rifle is still going strong today, and my replacement pup gutsless barrel are performing phenomenally, as you'll see in today's review. In fact, its regulator is doing a better job than the one prior, but more on that later. Today's 25 cal has been running best at between 43 and 57 foot-pounds of energy. Its mechanics will happily tune anything between 25 and 35 grain to stabilizing speeds, and when set up right, will reward with extreme spreads in the low to mid-teens. Shots per fill of its 180cc 300 bar reservoir span 20 to 55, achieving 57 foot-pounds by 20 shots, or 43 foot-pounds by 55 shots, and everything in between. At 50 and 100 yards, my sample of 1's 577mm 1 in 20 twist, non-choked, non-crowned barrel hated any and all pellets and slugs except for the JSB 25 grain variants. At 25 yards, however, I also achieved satisfactory results with the H&M Barracudas, the JSB 34 grain variants, and the FX hybrid slugs. Nothing else grouped well for me no matter how much effort I invested and regardless of tune. Yours, however, very well may. I've already read owners' reports of these guns shooting well with loads that mine refuse to like. That'll be your lottery, as well as how good of a reg you get. The pup also incorporates an easily removable shroud and barrel void of those all-important 1/2 inch UNF threads at the muzzle end. Slick operating side lever cocking that's antiquatedly placed, Picatinny galore all over the stock and under the scope, a cleverly designed and comfortable, if not a tad gimmicky, rubber butt pad, a smooth and welcoming adjustable cheek piece, fantastically placed dual onboard magazine storage, an excellent single shot tray, 2 impossible to read without a magnifying glass well-placed manometers, a newly designed stock that's compact, comfortable, heavy, and flexy, and a vague feeling rolling trigger that even when adjusted to its very best is a far cry from that of the wonderful one in the rifle. But at the end of the day, you can't argue with the results, and this new offering from Air Venturi gets the job done at 50 and 100 yards. Makes good power, is easy to tune well, and is priced below the playing field. So join me as we take a deeper look into the performance capabilities of the Avenger 25 cal, the industry's reigning and maintaining value-priced leader. At least in this reviewer's humble opinion. AEAC is made possible by Air Venturi, Hawk Optics, Diana Airguns, FX Airguns, Daystate, Air Arms, Sports Match Rings UK, H&N Sport, Aztec Optics, and JSB Predator Pellets. And you guys know the best way to thank them. The key to getting the Diablo-shaped pellet to fly straight in the wind is getting its speed right. For most barrels, the sweet spot is 850 to 880 feet per second. Pellets shaped like the redesigns can go faster and yet stay stable, perhaps as quick as 910 to 920 feet per second, and sometimes a little bit faster even. But your barrel's gotta like 'em first, and so does your tune. This is where airguns like the Avenger excel. They enable the user to get the speed right of the ammo that the barrel chooses. And that is worth its weight in gold. As is the ability to tune in desirable harmonics and out any waste air emerging around the pellet. That'll disrupt it as it goes bye-bye and begins its journey. In a nutshell, these are the desired outcomes of an airgun tuner. And this is what gives the Avenger a giant advantage over other guns in its price point, and even over guns costing significantly more. It's quite good at doing what it does best. That all said, it is a relatively inexpensive airgun, so one can expect some compromise. The exterior fit and finish is pretty good, but some of the interior fasteners don't inspire a lot of confidence. Anything that you touch or touches you is comfortable and well thought out. But underneath, there's just not a whole lot to it. And some of the interior hardware has a feeling of being, just enough. But truth be told, just enough was enough to make me really like the Avenger. And I feel like there's something really powerful to that, because I get my hands on a lot of really expensive airguns. So manage your expectations going in and enjoy all that your Avenger has to offer. Not bad for 400 bucks. So guys, the trigger in the Avenger Pup is nowhere near as nice as that of its counterpart rifle. There's just no way of getting around that. And if you're like me, having come from the rifle to the Pup, that's something you're gonna need to be made aware of, because that's something you're gonna need to be able to navigate to be able to extract the performance out of the gun. Now, out of the box, it was kind of a 2.5 pound deal. Long rolling first stage take up, not much of a second stage wall, and then it just kind of got into this heavy long rolling let off before the gun just finally goes off. And if you're going to be a successful shooter with this gun, that's something you're going to need to kind of understand and get to learn so that you can time your shots. Now, that all being said, I did invest quite a bit of time into getting the trigger into a much better place, and at the end of the day, you can't argue with the scoreboard. The 50 and 100 yard performance was ultimately there for me, and I'll put my settings and adjustabilities, whatever's up on the screen here for you for that first and second stage, so you can get it dialed in for yourself and hopefully have similar success. But when all was said and done, I wound up with a good resettable first stage. One thing I wasn't crazy about is all of the side-to-side movement in the blade. It's just kind of there, and it wasn't for me in the rifle. And so that's just going to be part of the deal. It does come up against a well-defined wall, and as I start applying pressure to the blade, got a helicopter coming overhead here. That's not something you see every day. You're gonna see a good 3 or 4 millimeters of creep before it finally lets off for you. And there it is. But like I said, with some adjustments, it got to a place I could live with. 1 pound, 7.6 ounces. At 9 pounds, 12 ounces, scoped full of air and with a Donnie, the Avenger pup is heavy. And a lot of that heft resides in the new stock. 2 pounds, 10 ounces to be exact. The gun feels substantial and is well balanced and narrow. Load up on the fly is quite convenient and easy. Satisfyingly fun even, and the gun comes up well. The rear cocking is disruptive, however, to holding one's point of aim, and will have you bouncing a bit. But overall, it's a comfortable and ergonomic shoot, and the new stock is a welcome addition, as well as a significant upgrade to that of the poly one in the rifle. Its material is denser, feels of high quality, and is bedded out nice, and it's loaded with accoutrement. From the bench, the Avenger Bullpup is quite an excellent shoot, with the credit going to its comfortable vertical grip, adjustable butt pad, adjustable cheek piece, and added heft. It all kind of works together to help you get the accuracy out of the gun. But what works against you is the rocking flex in its lower tub, and the poly bipod pick rail that's molded into it. They're just not structurally rigid, encouraging a pendulum action in your scope's crosshairs. It's manageable, but you're going to have to work through it. Anything less than a perfect vertical loading of the grip will give you some deformation. So just pay attention and focus on a motionless follow-through. Not too unlike shooting a Springer. I reviewed plenty of them too. The Avenger 25 shoots just fine without an aftermarket moderator, albeit louder. But a good one to experiment with is the new Donnie FL Fatboy. It's compact and lightweight, which is going to lend itself well to this gun's minimal clearance between barrel and reservoir. You don't want them touching, and an overly heavy moderator can make that happen during the shot cycle, which will seriously mess with your point of impact. The Fatboy also comes with 3 air strippers to play with, which will help you dial in your specific tune, making it a great complement to the Avenger. This one definitely liked the 2225 aperture best for my 25 grain Pro tune, and I experimented extensively. And just in case it wasn't obvious to you, this one moderator will work with 177 all the way through 30 cal, making its $175 price tag a screamin' value. But beware, its girth means that you'll likely need to remove it from the gun for refilling, something you wouldn't need to do with a moderator of less diameter, such as with Donnie FL's FX moderator. Its diameter is only about 1.25 inches, but you won't get those 3 air strippers. You don't want to get stung by a tussock moth caterpillar. Them damn things are everywhere. If that ever happens to you, by the way, and you feel like you did everything right, that's a pellet head size that's different than the rest. And unfortunately, it's just part of air gunning, unless you're going to take the time to sort them. Whether you're running a 43 foot-pound Pro tune or a 57 foot-pound max power tune, the Avenger 25 Cal's OEM shroud isn't really doing much to help you out. It's pretty darn snappy. Now, if you want help quieting things down, and even in some cases improving accuracy, there are aftermarket solutions available to you like this Donnie FL Fat Boy. At 43 foot-pounds, it does a good job of further quieting things down. And at 57, it does an even better job. Cycling the Avenger is enjoyable, and it does it smoother, lighter, and better than its price point competitors. Cocking to the rear is relatively light and slick, and it's aided by a conveniently placed drop down instead of a bolt. Its overall cocking weight will be dependent upon your tune, more specifically how much load you've got on that hammer spring. Lighter load equals lighter cocking, heavier load equals heavier. So my Eco Tune and Pro Tune are going to give you a more favorable experience there. And my Max Power Tune's going to have that cocking arm loaded up pretty well. Even then, operation stays smooth. Forward cycling is refined feeling and light, but gets a little bit bumpy as the pellets seated into the breech and the O-rings load up behind it. The overall experience is significantly better than other guns in the $300 to $500 range. The JSB Hades is an excellent short-range hunting pellet, but as you can see, it bleeds steam quickly, so it's probably not much better than any other out past 50. With the Avenger, I worked hard getting them to like one another. Initially, I was running them up around 870, 880 with terrible 50-yard results. They were hooking and wobbling all the way there, and any added wind made it worse. In the end, it turned out the key was getting their speed down into the 850 range. And once I did that, good things started happening for me. To get there, back off those Pro Tune settings just a bit, and you'll find your way. Now refilling the Avenger's 180cc reservoir, which resides here, as well as is hidden inside the stock, is straightforward and easy. First, unscrew the aluminum dust cover. Now if you're running an aftermarket moderator as I am, you may need to first remove it so that you can gain access to the fill foster. Next, connect your fill source and slowly fill to no more than 300 bar. Now my pressure gauge is in the back here, so I gotta lean forward and get cozy with y'all so that this camera can watch it and you guys can see what I'm doing here. Now as I close the yoke here, we're probably going to observe some pressure drop. What that is, guys, is as you fill the air gun, all of that air being forced into this small reservoir creates friction and pressure, which makes those air molecules speed up and heat up. And then as they begin to cool, you get pressure drops. So the pressure in your cylinder actually starts to come back down. And so you may want to go through several top-off cycles to keep yourself up around 300 bar. And this could take as much as a minute or so if it was really that important to you, but in the end it really doesn't really matter. All right, when you're done, bleed the air between your fill source and the gun. Disconnect and reinstall your dust cover. That's all there is to it. Truly, it was a bummer that the barrel I got didn't like anything other than the JSB 25 grain variants. Not that that's a bad pellet or anything, because it's truly a great one. It's just that to stabilize it, I had to run it around 875 at the muzzle, which means that at 100 yards away, it'll be traveling at 550 to 700 feet per second, making it extremely susceptible to conditions. Varying headwinds will slow it down some, as will air density. And by air density, I mean humidity. Here in Central Florida in April, we can literally have 25% humidity one day and 80% the next. And you'll see that heavier air scrub more speed at distance, especially with a larger surface area of the 25 cal pellet, traveling relatively slowly. And the 200-yard groups you're about to see were filmed on 2 different days, of opposite extremes. Where I'm going with all this is that my Avenger would have been better off at 100 yards had I been able to get it to work with the JSB 34 grains. That jump to 57 foot-pounds from 43 would have made a difference. A measurable difference against the elements. So I'd encourage you to try them in your Avenger with my max power tune, as well as experiment with the various slugs with as much speed as you can get away with. If you have success, your 25 cal Avenger will be a great 100-yard gun. Not just a great 50-yard gun and good 100-yard gun like my Avenger turned out to be. It'll all come down to that barrel lottery for you. Speaking of lotteries, one of you is going to win an Avenger of your choosing. You can have this one, the actual one I used in the making of this video, or you can elect to have a brand new one in your caliber of choice. This is all courtesy of Air Venturi, and the event will be held over at the Airgun Nation forum. Entering is as simple as picking a random number and posting it in the body of the giveaway thread. It'll be stickied so you can't miss it. Everything you see in this photograph is going to the winner. So if you want to see more of this sort of thing, get over there and show your support. We want to keep these sponsors encouraged, and we are definitely in that fight together. Today I'm shooting the Hawk Air Max 30 SF Compact 3-12x40 AO scope. What's great about it is that it's tiny, lightweight, and of good quality. What's not as great is its relatively short eye relief, but that can be worked around. Its half-mil dot AMX reticle is great for air guns with loopy trajectories, such as when you're shooting a 25 grain brick in the wind from 875 down to 600. It's got plenty of north-south on that reticle to compensate, and plenty of east-west too to help you correct for wind. Everything about it is what I'd come to expect from a $470 Hawk. An etched reticle, smooth operation, and turret clicks that do what they're supposed to. The glass is bright, and the AO range finding is dead on. If I could change anything about it, I'd make it work better with my scope cam. They just don't like each other. Looking through the glass is just a much better experience than looking at pictures of what I'm seeing. For mounts, I'm running the Sports Match Rings UK HTO 67C. By the way, my point of aim is here. For my sighter, everything was getting blown 3 inches right, so I clicked to compensate for it before I turned the cameras on. Anyway, you guys get the idea now what this gun can do when the winds are down. So, about this gun's externally adjustable regulator. If you want to learn all about it, check out my Avenger tuning podcast over on my other YouTube channel, AEAC Vlog. A couple of weeks back, the Airgun Geeks podcast hosted Tyler Patner and I recorded it on Skype and put it on my other YouTube channel. Tyler's the Air Venturi product manager, and we talked an awful lot about that reg to include a lot of other juicy stuff. So for more on that, go there and watch. Now I know after I put out my 2 vids on the rifle, a lot of you still had Avenger questions. So this time around, we started a Tyler Patner Avenger question and answer thread over on the Airgun Nation forum, where you guys can post all your questions. Now in a couple of weeks after this video that you're watching right now releases, Tyler and I are going to get on another Skype call together and we're going to answer all those questions that you guys posted over at the Airgun Nation forum. I'm going to record that Skype call and I'm going to put that video over on my other YouTube channel, AEAC Vlog. Not bad for $400. Hey guys, before I forget, JSB Predator here in the States has some limited production apparel for sale that they wanted me to tell you about. I'll leave you an affiliate link in this video's description if you're interested. What that means is that if you purchase through that link, I'll get a small commission for the redirect. So if you're in the market, let me say thanks in advance. Well, that is all for today, guys. And special thanks to Air Venturi, Hawk Sport Optics, Sports Match Rings UK, and Donnie FL for getting all of this into my hands to review for you. You guys know the best way to thank them for that one. Now from here, y'all want to head on over to the Airgun Nation forum so that you can participate in the discussion thread and in the giveaway thread of an Avenger of your choosing. I'll leave you links on how to get there in the description down below. So with that, I'm Steve Shalley. Thank you guys so much for watching, and good luck, everyone.